This is Public Access, the Skinny Jeans Edition Playtest, Part 9. Possibly our last session, but we'll see how it goes. We're just going to dive right in. You all find the buried station. Michael in a different way, which we'll talk about in a bit. But Steve and Katie, you go to Playa Morado and testing your theory, you start looking for craters, evidence of sunken land, just disturbances in the topography. And you do indeed find something, what looked like a natural sort of formation or perhaps a crater from many, many years ago. You you find that there is a crevasse that can be followed, that you can squeeze through, and it will eventually take you underground. And you don't even have to go very far before you find the fallen, collapsed station underground in the cave system. It's mostly collapsed. Like you can still go inside, but you're going to be kind of rooting around in structures and walls that are like crumbling and partially collapsed, right? Because when it fell, it would have a lot of destruction. Michael, you wander out to a point in the chromatic desert where you see the station in the middle of a field of white sand and blazing hot pink sky, standing tall and solid and even like shining and beckoning. And you can even see its tower where it radiates its signal, its broadcast. It's like visually radiating. You can see waves coming off of it. These entities that you believe are trapped here, you don't know the exact constitution of them, and you don't know what their intentions are, except that you think they're trying to get away or get home, and you think that they have to avoid the dark, and you think that they use the station to communicate and control the locals, or communicate with and control the locals. Yeah, these entities don't want you here. They're content to be hidden. They're content to have this blanket of unknowing and lost memory laid atop Decoya County, and particularly Deep Lake. And you each are already under the effects of them, their power, their ability to wipe your memories. All three of you are suddenly aware of blank spots in your memory, something that the entities have removed, perhaps surgically, perhaps haphazardly, but even though your characters don't remember it, you as players, I'd like to know, what does your character forget? What's the blind spot that they don't have access to anymore? What's the blank? What's in the blank? Whoever has an idea first, go ahead.
I think Katie forgets that she was blocking out a part of her traumatic childhood Um, I think she forgets. Okay, hold on. Let me think about. Okay, I think because she had been blocking out so much of her childhood, her memories of what happened to her siblings. I think what she forgets is that she was doing that and instead is reliving as if it
Oh,
just
it's like it
happened.
reverses it a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah. Intriguing. Maybe that's something you can share with us later.
I'll have to think
Steve,
about what it
what are you
is.
forgetting?
I think Steve is forgetting. I mean, going after Amanda, this is comparatively simple, but I think Steve is forgetting what kind of like what the cold is. Like he came from Minnesota, like what snow is to like it's just kind of like that eternal sense of just like sand and heat. It's no memory of the snow.
Interesting. Like, like I like the idea of like it's hot and there's sand and you naturally think of like, wow, I'd rather be somewhere else. What's the opposite of this? And you can't like
I
think of what
can't.
that is.
Fundamentally
Yeah.
cannot.
You
Yeah.
cannot think of what it is. Yeah. We should definitely have a scene where you're working through that with each other, right? I think that'll be the first scene that you and Katie will have. But Michael, this affects you as well.
Mhm. Was Michael ever outside of the chromatic desert? Unclear.
You feel like you've always been here. You can't
Mhm.
remember what life was like out of the Chromatic Desert. That's pretty big.
Mhm. Because like again, Michael has this sort of TV guide and is able to go through like different shows and whatnot. And well, sometimes you feel like life is just like one big television show where other people are just watching you.
You can clear all conditions except for I Dream of Deep Lake if you have that. I have a new reaction during this mystery where I can tell you to put an X on one of your condition boxes, which is permanent. And once you have that X, you have to narrate how another great big part of your past life or your memory or something is changing. Once all of your condition boxes are filled, if you're Steve or Katie, you decide to live in Deep Lake in bliss with the rest of the citizens here while the entities go on doing what they're doing. If you're Michael, you automatically mark the pure white signal. And so you know that you're being affected by these entities. You still remember why you're here. You still remember why you came to Deep Lake. And you know that and you still have your theory about these entities, and you can tell how they're affecting you. You need to stop them. You need to make contact with them so that you don't lose yourself, right? Now, the problem is there's probably no way to help them leave or to leave this place. They would have done that already themselves, right? They would have figured that out. But you might at least be able to convince them to like to chill, to live here peaceably, right? To like just be here and not be affecting the world in this way, not be causing these rifts and these boundaries of realities to start to shift around Nagoya County, in addition to the sort of like memory manipulations they do. Michael, you will have figured out in your time in the Chromatic Desert and in some point in the interim communicated it with the others. You would have figured out that the entities used the TV Odyssey station and the programs on it to communicate out into the world, and you can use the TV station and the TV programs to communicate with them.
Mhm.
They're otherwise not able to be communicated with effectively. Which leads to the questions and opportunities. How can we convince these entities to be at peace here? It's a complexity 6. Opportunity, resolve the mystery by producing a TV Odyssey show and convincing them of this. Now, knowing what the stakes are, you all have the option of turning back. Steve, you can go back to Minnesota, relearn what snow is, and never think about this again. Maybe you even post on some online forum. You go to the Deep Lake forums, the Deep Lake Odyssey forum, and you post what you found. Same thing, Katie. You can go back to not remembering what happened to your siblings and going back to comfortable, ignorant bliss, doing cheerleading or whatever bullshit you're doing, and be done with this place. And Michael, you can learn to scratch out an existence in the chromatic desert. Maybe go become an explorer in the chromatic desert. I don't know. You all have that option. But if you cross the threshold into the TV station, we're doing the mystery. Let's have the scene with Steve and Katie.
We're like down in the like crevasse, right? Like through
You're
the
like you're like in a
tunnels.
cave. You're literally in a cave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve is sweating buckets. Contrary to the implication that he forgets what snow is. No, that means he's sweating profusely. It's hot as hell. His body is overreacting. Steve is glistening. And
Might be a little cooler in the cave at least, though.
it
Yeah.
might be a little bit, but the sweat at that point isn't from temperature. He is just like soaking through his shirt basically and heaving and gasping from the effort of shimmying through all these little side caverns. I think he has to like take a moment. Like he's just like, like leans up against like a little like rocky bit coming out of a cave wall here. And it's just like, just give me a minute, Katie. I just can't go much further.
We have to keep going. Steve, you can't stop.
It's I know I'm okay. Just I don't I don't have a very good feeling about this, Katie. I don't think I think we should go back. I don't think this was a good idea.
Go back. Tina and Tommy, they're down here. know
I don't think anyone's down here that we want to meet with.
down here. I know they are.
Katie, I don't Minnesota's not a desert, but
What?
I I I close my eyes, and when I think of my home, my real home, not this fucking rental nightmare piece of shit model home we got in the middle of fuck it all nowhere, but I'm picturing my actual house, and you know what I see? I see sand, and I see sun, and I see desert, and I can't think of anything else other than that.
That's You're losing your mind.
Yes, I'm losing my fucking mind, Katie. Which I think is a very clear indication that we need to fucking run away from this place. This was a bad idea. He starts to like ramble, like wiping, like just mopping the sweat off of his face, and like little droplets and flecks of the stone. He's like, he gets off of the wall, he's just beginning to pace back and forth. Like Steve Knudsen is fucking losing it.
I think for a really short moment, Katie hears the giggles of her younger siblings from farther in the cave. And I would actually like to resolve a key from last time right now, if that's okay.
Let's have it. Yeah.
Everybody. Key of the child, a flashback to when you felt genuine happiness as a child. We see Katie. It is after school. TV Odyssey is on the TV. Her younger siblings, Tina and Tommy, are plopped, sitting much, much too close to the TV. It's going to be bad for their eyes, but there are no adults around. And Katie is so tired of being the older sister, of all of the attention on the younger kids, of all of her responsibilities that have to deal with making sure they get home from school, making sure they have snacks to eat, making sure that they are comfortable and happy. All she wants to do is do her own thing. Whatever that is, she doesn't even know. The TV flickers a moment, static. The children, the younger kids, they don't seem to notice, but Katie can hear it. TV is talking directly to her. Attention, directly on her. Katie, a voice says. Katie, I know it's not fair. You don't get to do the things you like to do. You don't get to be happy and have fun. Tina and Tommy get to be happy and have fun, but you don't. That's not fair, is it? Katie, we have an answer. And in that moment, a smile crosses Katie's face, a pleasant, happy, relieved smile. Tina, Tommy, get up, get your coats. We're going to go visit the TV Odyssey office building. Won't that be fun? She says. Back in the cave, Tina almost absentmindedly starts towards the voices that she hears, walking away from Steve.
Steve is left alone there for a moment as she walks off into the cave, and he freaks out. And once the silence is profound enough, he like stops and like looks around and realizes he has no fucking idea where Katie went. He's like, Katie, like shining his flashlight around. Is it only like one way in, one way out? Like, just like she could have only gone one way, or are there like
Pretty
branches?
much. I mean, you.
Okay,
I mean,
cool.
I think I like the idea of you're all like kind of navigating some
Mm-mm.
cave switchbacks to get down to where the station is. You
Makes
can
sense.
see the partially collapsed station down below. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just knowing that she could have only gone one way since she hasn't left is that he shines his light down the way into the darkness. I can't see her, but Steve just begins to he like shuffles over to her. He's like, Katie, shining his light down there.
Make the meddling move with composure.
You know what I'm gonna do? I think as he's like shining his light down there, he like fumbles around in his side bag, whatever he brought, like backpack. He's gonna pull out the copy of Daniel Kwan's notebook that he has and kind of very quickly like flip through the pages, because this kid's seen a lot. He's wondering if maybe this kid has seen something that lines up with this creepiness down here.
Well, that's intriguing. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
if I
like
could
that.
mark that for advantage.
Mark it for advantage. Yeah, let's do it.
Love it. All right, you said plus composure.
Yep.
Okay, so for me that will be +2. Thank God. So
Good roll.
that is a 12.
Nice. I shall give you a clue in a moment. Michael, you are standing before the TV Odyssey building out in the middle of this white and pink desert. What do you do?
I think because the way the nature of the chromatic desert, as it is, as it always has been, time doesn't pass nearly as slowly as the real world. So it's not that Michael is afraid of going into the station. It's more that he's waiting for his compatriots to get within reasonable distance of the station in the other world. Um, it's been an hour, like he's been waiting. Um, he's he thinks that he can potentially sense it when they cross the threshold, but he still is unsure about it. He feels like the fabric of reality here is just very, very ripe. It's very tense. It's like alive. The air is like there's almost electricity on it, like on the precipice of touching something that even for the Karag Desert is a fallacy.
Can I throw a detail in there?
Yes.
I think it specifically feels like when your hand hovers near one of those old box TVs, that kind of like humming static sensation and the smell of dust. Yeah.
So what do you do?
Yeah. I also have Key of the Child to narrate.
Oh, go ahead.
I think it's a patchwork thing because, well, these entities have been sort of playing in Michael's memories. So I think it comes across as though we're watching this recorded TV show that has been played over many times over and over again, where like the film of the tape has been just worn out slightly, where we see the Schroeder family dinner with a sort of a regular family sitcom TV show where like the mom has like been having shenanigans and like it's just a very fun and pleasant experience and like we just see like very good close-ups of Michael having a good time with his family, but like it's off. Like the faces of his family members have been like sort of scratched over with like white static.
I would like to suggest also
Mm-hmm.
that your memory of this is, yes, you have that sort of striking detail of like everyone's having like static face, but also there's a little boy and girl around the at the table that you don't recognize,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't have static faces.
Yes, but they're familiar. Like,
They're familiar, but
yeah, but I don't know them.
you do not know them.
Yeah, but they belong there.
Do you walk into?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do walk in uh into the TV station and I have not forgotten about this, Alex. I think as I go in, because Michael still had his no, yeah, his cell phone when he got in. So like quite suddenly his phone starts ringing.
Mm. Do you answer it?
Yes, I do answer it. Uh, so I will note that the truth is out here because since this is the TV Odyssey mystery, Jason, you can reveal the identity of the mysterious helper during the Odyssey mystery. So if you,
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
I'm going to lean into what we've been doing so far
mm-hmm.
and say that when you answer the phone, you hear Tina and what's the other one's name, Amanda?
Tommy.
You hear Tommy and Tina on the other line, and they're like, "We didn't know how long it would take you to get here, but we're so happy you're here now. Come find us." And if you still need a clue from that, I'll give you a clue as well.
Yes, I would like a clue because
I mean, that's pretty interesting
yeah,
information. But
yeah.
I think the clue is the entities find this idea of you and Tommy and Tina and maybe some other people you don't even recognize sitting around the dinner table enjoying family dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Katie, you are you're very nearly lost it. Are you going down into the station? Like you're down there. You're in you're there. What do you do?
Yeah. Right now, because my memory is all fuzzy and weird, it feels like I literally was just here with my siblings,
Yeah.
and I'm very certain I can just find them.
Yeah. What do you do?
I think actually I'm gonna call out. I'm gonna call out. Uh, Tina, Tommy, it's Katie. I'm here. I'm here. Where are you?
Make the meddling move with sensitivity. I'm going to put you at disadvantage because if I dream of Deep Lake.
Well, disadvantage didn't hurt because I got all ones.
Ooh, woof. Woof, woof, woof. We'll come back to this in a moment. Steve, let me give you a clue. That kid was writing all kinds of shit, right? It's like a diary, but a notebook, or the ramblings of an 8-year-old. The handwriting's really bad. Um, a lot of it's just like stupid 8-year-old nonsense. They're very boring at that age. But you do find a couple of, you do find several entries that are interesting. He dreams a lot. He dreams a lot about his dead grandmother. And in particular, he misses Sunday dinners with the family that his grandmother always hosted. And that only sticks out to you because in the notebook, when he talks about those dreams, he also doodles the ridgeline of the crater that you explored in order to find this cave system. That's your clue.
What a fascinating clue. Okay. I think he stares at this for like a long moment, eyes for like, squints. He has that expression of like, what the fuck on his face before eventually he just pockets it back up and shines light back down and just goes, fuck. Oh, fuck. You're in it now, Nudson. Oh, fuck. And he's going to start shimmying down after Katie. You're muted, sir.
Katie, you're calling out to Tina and Tommy. And you hear a voice in the darkness, not where the station is, but somewhere deeper in the cave system, somewhere further down. And that voice says, "We're over here. We're over here. You can come with us. You can stay here with us forever. Follow the sound of our voice. Follow the sound of our voice." I need the night move to resist this, if you resist it.
I'm going to try to resist it.
What are you afraid is going to
But
happen if you don't
am...
resist it?
Well, I'm afraid that I'm actually afraid I'm going to get lost in these caves forever and become a missing person stat, just like my siblings.
Okay. I love it. How is it worse than that? I think it's worse than that, and this might happen even if you get a mid result. You're gonna have to mark an X on that box as well. So, or on a conditions box.
That is worse. Oh crap. Okay. Let me just quickly check my corner of the house.
Mm-hmm.
I think I reach into my pocket and I
Mm-hmm.
pull out the little vial of holy water.
Yeah.
I don't really know what to do with it. I don't really.
You just start like throwing it on yourself.
And I think I just sort of like splash it around all over me in hopes that it'll help.
Whatever the evil is, will leave you alone.
Yeah, to try and protect me from any evils so that I can actually rescue my siblings.
Whether it has any actual protection, it at least is making you feel better, I guess. So go ahead and roll with advantage.
What am I rolling with? Is this sensitivity
um,
again?
Composure.
Composure? Well, at least I have a little bit of composure. 6.
Oh no. If you bump up the roll, you'll just have to mark the X on your conditions, but otherwise you will not wander off into the caves forever.
Well, I'm gonna mark one of my masks, or not my masks. Turn one of my keys.
Yep.
I'm going to turn a key of the child.
And I think Steve, you're the one who pulls Katie back from the brink. What does that look like?
I think that it's just kind of like at the last moment that it just like lunges out of the darkness just like to quite literally like grab her. His like flashlight drops to the ground, like rolls across the work as he like, hands like clutching at her. He's just like, nope, fuck, I got you. Oh shit.
I
love
can
it.
narrate my key right now if we want
Let's
to
do
quickly.
it. Let's do it.
I would like to put in a little warning for everybody listening that there is going to be a little bit of harm to children. So content warning, harm to children, nothing super graphic. But we see Katie again, and she has she is walking down the road, this dusty road in the dusk, as the sun is starting to set. It's getting later into the evening. She's holding Tina and Tommy's hands on either side of her, and they are walking down this dirt road towards TV Odyssey, the building. And we see it how it looked back in the 90s before it disappeared. There is a small gate. It is a wired gate, and there's a square cut in the middle of it to allow access for people that need to get in and out. So she climbs in and helps her siblings through. Tommy is starting to complain. Katie, I'm hungry. I don't want to do this anymore. And Tina is looking around, and this is where the TV shows are made. It doesn't look very magical. And Katie, still that beatific smile on her face, that relaxed smile, says, don't worry, we're almost there. You're going to see what I'm coming to show you. It's going to be amazing. Just wait, just wait. And as they walk up to the office, the building, they don't go inside. Instead, they stop at the edge. We see a patch of sand that is just looks a little different than the rest of the sand. And we see Katie take Tina in the front of her, hold onto her shoulders and say, okay, are you ready? And Tina says, for what? And Katie pushes her into the sand spot. We see Tina freeze for a moment and start to sink down, turn towards Katie, a look of panic on her face as she starts to struggle into the quicksand. Katie just smiles and says, bye, Tina. As Tina screams and cries, Katie is holding on to Tommy's arm, gripped so that he can't run away as he is screaming and crying. Katie, no, don't. I don't want to go in there. Katie says, you have to. You have to be with Tina. We can't separate you two. You were born together, and now you'll go into the sound together. And Katie, just glassy-eyed, glass-faced, pushes Tommy into the sand. And that was a flashback to when you experienced childhood trauma.
Experience, not inflicted.
Yeah, inflicted. Yeah, I know. It's good. You were a manufacturer of said trauma. Love it. Michael, do you go inside?
Absolutely.
It's very cool and air conditioned inside what is the sort of like lobby of the TV station. There's a potted plant next to the desk, and there's like a little front desk area. There's also a complimentary coffee bar and a refrigerator with sodas in it. And there's a young woman who is wearing, she's kind of like dressed in, oh gosh, what would she be wearing in the 90s? Like, Oh, like a grunge, like
Mhm.
plaid shirt, right? That whole kind of situation. And she's like, "Hey, how's it going?
Going well.
Do you have
Basically,
studio time reserved?"
yeah. This is my first time here, so
Oh, what's your show about?
it's a sort of a review show about the upcoming new computer systems from Apple.
Oh, okay. So like a nerd thing. I
Hmm.
That tracks. So cool. Let me check the book. What'd you say your name was?
Michael Schroeder.
Oh, yep, there you go. Go
Hmm.
ahead and just put your initials right there.
Hmm. I write down my initials.
Yeah, yeah, and you did have an appointment there.
Hmm.
It's right there in the book.
Hmm.
They even have a name for your show. What is your show called?
God, Alex, what's the name of my show?
Uh,
Take a bite of the apple.
take a bite of the apple. Yeah.
I guess the name makes more sense now.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's good. I thought it was going to be another like self-help thing, seizing life, take
Mhm.
a bite of the apple, but I didn't realize it was about Apple computers. Cool. Okay, you got your initials. That's good. So you got 15 minutes to set up your space and
Mhm.
get everything the way you want it. Do you need help unloading your car or anything?
No, it's more of an like I've got like sort of the bits of things already set up in my bag and whatnot. So,
Minimalist production values.
mhm.
Got it. Okay, no shock there. And great. And so, anyway, you've got 15 minutes to kind of get things set up. It seems like you're not going to need it. And then you've got 30 minutes to record, and then 15 minutes to check out the recording, talk to the editors if
Mhm.
you need to make any changes. Um, that kind of thing. And she's kind of like, she gives like a slip of paper to like track
Mhm.
any adjustments or time changes or mark time on things, as needed for the editors. She's like, okay, so there's that. Um, cool. Have you had a chance to stop in and talk to management yet?
Actually, no. There was like some sort of mix up with like a meeting and whatnot, and like I tried calling. It went to voicemail. It was just a
Uh,
whole
Management's
rigmarole.
not easy to reach by phone, so that
Yeah.
makes sense. Uh, to reach management, you're going to want to go find the janitorial closet. You go into the janitor's closet, it's at the end of the hall.
Mhm.
Move aside, set aside the mop, and there's some old like plywood and paint cans. Just move all of that out of the way, and you're gonna find a great big hole in the wall. That hole in the wall leads to a little path. It's gonna feel like you're going into the basement, and you kind of are. You're gonna go down, and management's down there.
Hmm.
You'll want to stop in before you leave.
Yeah, definitely.
They like to see all the talent. They like to meet them.
Mm. Okay. I think with like all this information gathered, I think at first I'm gonna drop by the recording space.
Okay.
Um, because
There's like
a little scared about management. I'm not gonna lie.
management doesn't sound great. Yeah. Um, we'll come back to this in a moment. Steve, you can get Katie like snap out of it enough to to figure out what you're both going to do right now. So what's happening?
All right, Katie, I'm going to need you to take about 3 quick breaths and then 3 slow ones.
Steve,
Are you
did
good?
you did you did you
Look at the
see that
light.
they
Shines light
what?
in her eyes.
And I think her pupils are just blown.
Oh God, I'm not a professional, but that does not look good. What's up? What can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, of course. You're right in front of me. You're yelling in my face.
Okay. Okay. Oh, hey. All right. All right. Calm down. I'm not yelling. What's you good? What's up?
Right. I I for a moment. Oh gosh, sorry. I must have just spaced out. Okay, hi.
Hey, hi. Yeah, Katie, I listen, this is not the place to space out. I'm gonna really need you to focus up, okay? And I need you to be completely honest with me. All right. Did you take something? Are you on drugs?
What?
You're
No,
right. Okay, then
that's
I'm gonna
so unhealthy.
okay, good. So
Katie, since you have an X marked on your conditions, what have you forgotten?
I
Another
think
another big part of your past.
yeah, I think I've forgotten that I've ever left Deep Lake.
You've always been here.
Yeah.
Good.
okay.
Sorry,
Yeah.
continue.
I'm gonna say he's like, all right, okay, just wanting to make sure. Are you good?
Yeah.
I'm not good because I'm not good. And you
Oh,
want, if you wander off on me, I kind of begin to lose it. So we got to stick together, right?
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Okay. Okay.
did you experience something supernatural?
What? No, I heard my siblings, they're down here. We'll find them. We'll find them. It'll be fine.
Your
But
siblings, they're here
if
in Deep
you're
Lake?
if
I thought,
you're
wait, yeah, you what? Your siblings, what?
okay, just you need to calm down. You need to okay, remember what we talked about hyping yourself up, about remembering all of the good things that you can do, all of the abilities that you have.
Is this really the time for affirmations?
Yeah, this is the perfect time for affirmations. Okay.
Okay, well, I'm freaking the fuck out, Katie. So you're gonna need to
Okay.
help guide me through them because I don't know if I can do that right
This
now.
this is fine. Remember when you were young and
Okay.
at the end of the day, after a full day of fun and playing, how you knew you had to go home. Do you remember that? How did you
Yeah.
know you had to go home?
The street lights came on.
Yes, exactly. There was a symbol in the world for you, controlled by the time of day, that led you forward. You didn't have to rely on yourself. You just relied on your instinct. You relied on your power of observation to see the lights come on. Just think back. Pretend you're little Steve. You're walking down the street light comes on. You know what you have to do. There's
And
no
you're the street light in this metaphor?
I'll be your street light, Steve.
Okay.
Bing. I'm on. You know what you have to do. Focus, Steve. Focus.
Okay. No, I'm focusing. Okay. No, I'm good.
Yeah,
Street
how are you
lights.
feeling? You feeling okay?
Bad, but I can push through it.
No.
No?
Maybe, in
Oh
fact, you're
God.
feeling good.
I don't think I am.
You can
Oh, I know because you're mute. That's right.
you can be feeling good. Alex.
We technically haven't done the nostalgic. Oh no, we did because you were talking about the streetlights. That's true. Oh my God, we triggered the nostalgic move. How crazy!
It's like Amanda is very good at this
She
game.
is. I was about to say like I did that without even realizing. Holy shit! Good job, Amanda.
For those listening, I have triggered my move. Thank you for being a friend. You
Hell
are
yeah.
easy to open up to. When you do the nostalgic move, the other latchkey can clear a second condition, since you don't have any right now, or you can take the condition feeling good.
No, he'll
And you can
absolutely take
clear
feeling good.
good at any time to get advantage on the roll.
That's
This
actually awesome.
works because
We'll tell
your
you.
takes you back is heading home and the streetlights flicker on.
Love it.
Yeah.
You will hear it's still some distance away, so much so that you can't really like recognize the voice, but you will hear from back the way you came up the, kind of like up the little kind of like cave wall cliff and back down the tunnel. You'll hear someone calling out, "Hey, is anyone down there?"
Did you hear that too?
Did.
They're going to
Hello?
eventually. Oh, you call back?
Yeah. What?
Oh, you got squelched there, Amanda. Say that again, Amanda. I think your audio.
You got zoomed.
Yeah,
got
sorry.
You got zoomed.
Steve, we don't know who that is. It could be somebody trying to stop us.
Or maybe someone trying to help.
Hello? Is someone down there?
He like looks at her like, I'm gonna answer again. He's like, I'm gonna do it. He goes, hello.
Hey, who is that?
Who are you?
It's Sheriff Hanscom.
Hanscom, it's Steve Nebson. I have your phone number.
Right, Steve from Minnesota.
Yeah.
What are you doing down there?
He looks at Katie like, I'm going to tell him.
You don't tell him the truth.
What do I tell him then?
We're exploring.
I can't lie to a cop. That's illegal.
It is not illegal. He doesn't have a warrant on the truth.
He'll call back. He'll say, spelunking.
He reaches the part of the cave that's looking down into where you're at, right? So you can see him now. He has his own flashlight. And he calls down to you. He says, well, you two need to come back up. This is not safe.
Yeah, no kidding. It's very not safe, but well, Sheriff, I'm afraid. He like looks at Katie and he's like, you can see like he's like doing like the hype up thing. He's like, I'm afraid we gotta be down here
Why do you have to go down there?
because it's the source of all the badness.
Right?
No?
And he turns his back to you as if like something got his attention behind him.
Sheriff Hanscom?
He says, I don't know what you think you see down there. And then he turns back around again to face you. And his eyes are staticky and white. But whatever you found, I can't let you tell anyone about it. And he pulls
Katie,
his
run.
piece.
Katie,
he pulls
run.
his gun and he's aiming his gun at
I run.
one of you.
Yeah. I think we bolt.
Steve, I think you are the one who's in danger here. This is going to be the night move. What do you think is going to happen if you can't outrun Sheriff Hanscom's bullets?
I think I'm going to. I was thinking about invoking "Come with me if you want to live," but I'll hold on to that for now, just because it's pretty early. I think I'll go ahead and clear feeling good though for advantage on this roll because I'm a.
Hold on there.
Oh.
You already have advantage because of just say no because Sheriff Hanscom is a cop.
Oh,
He's
it's
a
true.
cop.
And
That's
any
true.
situation. That's true. Okay, so in that case, I think take a look here.
Just say no to being shot by the police.
Just say no.
As a general matter.
Let me look at this here. I think what I'm going to do is, I want to say just like.
I mean, if you're just running, that's fine.
Yeah, it's just I think I'm just.
But what are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
My bad. I'm afraid I'm going to get shot in the ass.
It's worse than that.
Actually, Zagreus predicted your death here.
We're stacking shit.
Oh no.
Okay,
Katie spins and says, "Wait! I saw this in a game." The prize for Zagreus was the cabinet shows the prophecy of a fellow Latchkey's demise. In a future scene, when another Latchkey is getting ready to take an action roll that will require a die roll, you can warn them that Zagreus predicted their death if they take this action. If they go through with the action anyway, you both mark XP. The miss result, though, is replaced with "you are killed. The keeper will describe how."
I just love the idea of like arcade machine pixel art Sheriff Hanscom capping Steve Knudsen. I'm going to go through with it anyway. I'm going to go through it anyway.
It's vitality. You get advantage at least. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to get shot. So, all right. Okay. That is a 9.
You will have to mark an X as soon as you cross the threshold of the station. If you don't want to do that, you got to bump it up.
I have keys to burn. I will mark the Fathomless Well.
Ah, interesting. Then that leads me to an interesting idea. But go ahead and just please narrate your escape. Both of your escapes.
Yeah, I think when like the Sheriff Hanscom's like pulling out the piece, it's just like Steve immediately goes to like, because it's like we're like there's like we can like see down, right? Like it's like I think I might like tackle Katie and we just go like tumbling down deeper into the cave, like kind of like if I'm imagining it correctly, it's kind of like Bilbo Baggins in the Hobbit. He like falls and like it hits down some like slopes down the
I
way.
mean, you could
Like,
run into the station too. The
oh, that
station
too.
opens
Okay, yeah.
that
If we
way.
can, if we can run
Yeah,
into the station, then I'll just escape into the station.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think Steve just like books it forward, and like I think in like a surprising feat of athleticism, fully just like arms around Kiwi, like scoops her up and just fucking books it. Like
Nice.
fully like fireman carries her. As like I imagine we just hear the gunshots going off.
I'm going to describe what you see as soon as you burst into the front lobby. You will see a potted plant smashed and crushed, soil spread all over the floor, an overturned vending machine, a skeleton wearing a red flannel shirt draped over the desk, and you will hear from somewhere deep in the station, because you mark the fathomless well. No, what does the fathomless well do normally? Gives you higher. You're muted.
It just adjusts stats.
I'm gonna go with this though. You hear from deeper in the station. I wondered how long it would take you to find me. Let's take a 5-minute break. Michael, I'm going to give you the layout of the station. It's the same for you, Steve, and Katie, but you see the sort of like the collapsed, busted, abandoned version. But Michael, essentially what you've got in the station, there's the front lobby area. There is off a little like kind of basically like off to the side of the lobby area. There's like an admin slash offices part. Then you take a hallway towards the back, which leads to the editing suite, which is where they edit the programs, the broadcasting suite, which is where they like send out their signal, and then you have 3 studios for recording shows. There is a sign with a that leads to basement, like a or points down to a basement area, and then there's that supply closet, that janitorial closet. So, Michael, what do you do?
I think I'm gonna go to the editorial suite. Uh, See what that is about. Just pretty much getting a lay of the land. So maybe figuring out like, is there any connections between this reality and the other reality?
Hmm. There's a little glass, a circular glass window from the door that looks into the actual editing suite, and you'll be able to see just by glancing in. You'll see a number of TV monitors and other equipment, all of it on and doing things.
Mhm.
And there's a man wearing a Hawaiian shirt sitting in front of the editing bay with headphones on. You'll see that just at a glance. What do you do?
Do I recognize this guy or
No.
okay? Jesus Christ, Amanda.
Sorry, I'm causing problems in chat.
I saw that. I will make no comment. um,
Okay. I'll make a note of that for later use. Going to do like the recording studio itself, just so like before performing the role of me with my Apple review TV show effectively.
oh, so you're gonna head to the studio instead?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Just wanted to take a little peek, see if like if it was empty, I would probably would have gone in,
Hmm.
but oh well.
That's okay.
Second round.
When you go around the corner towards the studios, Um, you'll be face to face with the big man. He's
Mm.
standing there. He has his. He's not wearing his like yellow suit. He's wearing like jeans and a western shirt, and he still got his cowboy hat though. And he looks more. What's the word? He looks more present. His
Mm.
skin doesn't seem like it's about to fall off the bone. It looks more flush and healthy. Um, and he's still a big guy. He's barely being contained by those pearl buttons of that shirt. But he's there and he says, "Well, how do you do? Are you my 230?
Yeah, I think I am.
Well, come on back this way.
Hmm.
What's your program about?"
It's about Apple computers.
"Oh, Apple computers. Well, the computers are taking over everything, aren't they?"
Mhm. Yeah, they are effectively the new TV.
"I can't make heads or tails of it.
Hmm.
Me, I'm a simple man.
Hmm.
I like simple pleasures. I like cigarettes and poontang, and movies at the drive-in on Friday nights. What about you?"
I God. I I've been known for to enjoy a good dish of poutine as well.
And he kind of gives you like a confused look and then a wink, and then he says, "Well, come this way." And he's there. He steps inside in front of you, in front of this little studio, and there's a camera there.
Mhm.
How do you know as you step inside that the camera is watching you?
It's not a visual sensation, but you do like know when someone is making eye contact with you and is watching you out of the corner of their eye, even though they may be looking towards somewhere else. That's how I feel towards this camera.
I think you have to make the night move to stay in the room with the camera. Um, what are you afraid is going to happen if you lose your nerve?
Uh, I'm afraid I'm just gonna book it out of here because I'm afraid like it's just gonna take me to a different reality where I'm not gonna have any effect on this mystery.
It's worse than that, I guess. You'll abandon TV Odyssey altogether and go roaming in the chromatic desert. This is going to be with sensitivity.
I think because again, I'm trying to remain calm and I'm getting out my stuff. I think in this sort of pseudo space where what like was once uh various well worn computer magazines is actual various like Apple products in this space. So like I'm gonna mark my stack of well worn magazines to give me advantage.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, what is with these dice? Okay, that's a 12.
Oh, nice. Okay, good. We'll come back to this in a moment. All right. Steve and Katie, same basic layout. Navigating the halls is a little trickier for you because, like, you have to kind of sometimes duck under like collapsed air conditioning vents and that kind of thing, right? But this layout is basically the same. What do you do,
Um,
Steve?
I think I want Katie seems to be so much more clicked into what's happening here than Steve is, or at least she's having some more experience. So I think Steve is mostly keeping his eye on the rear, like he's kind of like keeping a lookout, making sure that the Hanscom's not going to follow them,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like is covering her back just to make sure
Mhm.
that he's mostly like on guard.
Also, it was noted in chat. We were reminded that you get a clue since you all triggered the nostalgic move earlier as well. Do you want to define that?
Yeah, I think what we said here in the chat was that echoing the talk about the headlights is that we can notice in like the sunken station there was like a creepy blinking light coming from like part of its structure.
Oh, nice. Okay, good. Maybe it was like blinking with a particular frequency. That might be a
Yeah,
good.
like something like
Good.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. Good clue. How many clues do you have now?
Where are we tracking these by the way? I wrote them down on my own, but
Oh, someone just needs to grab a
There's
column.
a section, I think probably Chaotic set it up in
I
the.
I set it up on the most right.
oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mystery is TBRC.
Yeah, we are I think at 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
I would also like to trigger my sight beyond sight.
Oh.
Whether you call it premonitions, understanding omens, or just plain having a hunch, you're able to glimpse a little into the future. The first time you enter a location, you can ask the keeper what is about to happen. They
Where
will
are you
answer
entering?
truthfully, though not necessarily completely. And I have marked the sandstone arch, so I can also ask why is it about to happen.
Where do you want to have triggered that before you run into the station in general, or a particular room in the station?
I think once we walk into the lobby.
Okay. What is about to happen is you are going to reestablish contact with the big man. But the why is it's the real big man. The big man you've been in contact with is just a manifestation, a projection.
Interesting. And I can see the big man, right?
You know, you can't see anything right now.
Oh,
You're
can't
just in
see
the lobby.
anything.
You just heard that voice, but
Yeah. Okay.
but you would have like intuited that, I guess. You know?
Yeah. I'd like to go towards the voice. That's never been a caused a problem. Go towards the voice, the mystery voice.
You have to step over some knocked over file cabinets and duck under some collapsed parts of the ceiling, but you eventually make it to the studio bays. And just as you're walking into the studio bay that Michael is walking into, you're walking into that same studio bay, and you see a person clutching a camera up against the wall, entombed in the wall by many hundreds, thousands of strips of videotape binding him to the wall, holding the camera. It's him. He's skeletal, but he's alive, and his jaws moving up and down, and he says, "You have come at last."
You weren't you the man who gave me? You made the distraction so I could get the tape out of that one guy's car. That right?
I have been roaming in my dreams as of late. I have seen many people, forward and back, fast forward into the future, rewind into the past. I have walked the desert roads. I have dreamed. I have drawn you to me. It is possible, yes, I showed you such a thing.
I think I would like to reach into my pocket and pull out a pair of safety scissors that I found in there earlier today. This is my other prize, another prize from Zagreus, an item you lost in your childhood miraculously turns up the next day.
I want
Describe
the night move.
how it is more disturbing than you remember.
Oh yeah, do that.
Of the house.
Yeah.
And I think it is a pair of safety scissors, and it says written on it in with masking tape and Sharpie, Tony and Tina. It's their safety scissors from their playroom. But I think they are extremely jagged and pointed. This is no longer safety scissors.
I think Steve also would like flick out his switchblade. I think we're of the similar
Did you follow,
mind
Steve?
of like,
you followed, right?
Yeah, because I was watching her back. Yeah.
I want the night move though. What do you afraid is going to happen right now if this goes badly?
If I cut him free, it is the wrong decision, and he is going to, I don't know, attack.
It's a load-bearing big man, and the station will collapse.
Maybe not quite that, but I will say the way it's worse than that is you will discover too late that he's controlling and keeping the camera at bay.
Mm.
If you wish to continue, this is going to be with sensitivity.
Definitely wish to continue. And I'll roll my advantage with my scissors.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Okay, that's good. That is a 10.
Nice. If you bump it up, I'll give you a clue too.
I don't have that many. You know what? Yeah, whatever. Let's do it. I'll bump it up. Go big or go home.
Go big or go home. What do you
I don't
mark?
remember where home is, so
That's true. You already are home, so you might as well.
I'm gonna mark a key of the child. My last key of the child.
Fantastic. Steve, what are you doing in the meantime? Like, I mean, is there anything else you're doing, like, or you would have been doing in the
No,
journey?
just I think
rather
fictionally-
slow journey to the studio.
Yeah, I think just fictionally in this moment, he's helping her because he has a switchblade out as well. But maybe prior to that, he had taken like a look around, like because it was this like studio space, right?
Yeah.
Like while she was engaged in conversation, I think he was shining his light around the periphery and just seeing like the remnants of what this place was and what's happened here.
I like it. Go ahead and make a meddling move with reason.
Cool. I'm feeling good, so I'm gonna go ahead and clear that for advantage.
Very good.
Because I walk in here and it makes me not feel great anymore.
Well, and also like there's just this, well, yeah, but also like you would have had this initial burst of excitement from being in TV Odyssey, right? I mean, this
exactly.
is what you came here for,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
Exactly. This is the moment. I think we've crested the fear, and now there's that like, oh shit, we did it. We're here.
We did
it's
it.
The place.
Yeah.
That's an 11.
Nice. Good. Fantastic. I'll give you a clue. Let me take a look at my clues. Oh. One thing that you will notice, there is down here quite a lot of beetles and cockroaches skittering here and there, moving on the ceilings and along the walls, going in and out from under doors. But whenever you actually shine your flashlight directly on a group of these bugs, they immediately skitter and form a strange symbol and then disperse. The symbol is the clue. I'll also tell you that you'll see in some of the rooms, if you look through the little glass peak portholes of the doors, you'll see like other skeletons, other skeletal remains of people who worked here.
Yeah, then I'll go back to helping.
Yeah, first of all, Katie, go ahead and just describe cutting free the cameraman.
I think the scissors don't cut so much as just sort of shred. And I try to take care not to cut around his body, but I cut around, cutting the pieces of a video film, like film tape, just willy-nilly, not really any attention as to what I am cutting or where, just slice to try and get him free.
I think when you free him, you realize that there's kind of nothing left of the bottom of him. It's just like rags, shredded rags, and dried up viscera. He's practically mummified. He's barely alive. And
is he like plugged into the camera or something like that?
He falls down, and Yes,
Oh,
the camera, he is like the life force, the power source of the camera. And that's your clue.
that's grody, man.
Yeah, at first I was thinking the Beatles got to him, but this is worse.
Michael, you're in your studio bay. The cameraman's got, he's like, all right, we're all set up now. Uh, you got 40 minutes to record. That should be plenty of time.
Mhm,
You just let me know when you're ready.
mhm. I did get a 12 plus, so
On the
uh,
keeping,
yeah, keeping my cool.
yeah, I'll give you a clue as well.
Mhm,
There's something up, you get to define it.
mhm. I think.
There's, I'll give you some parameters though.
Mhm,
As you're recording your show,
mhm,
as you're recording your show, there are messages flashing on the other side of the camera. Like you can read them on the camera lens,
mhm,
and you keep like seeing these words, and whatever they tell you is the clue.
mhm.
You can decide on what that is, but that's what's happening. I'm just curious how the show goes. What is this computer show like?
Oh, it's your pretty bog standard uh Apple computer review TV show. Michael is very knowledgeable about like how these things work, about like what people could use them in their day-to-day lives, regardless of your age and your experience with these newfangled technologies. But like if you're not really into like computers, like this show is really, really boring. So
I like the idea of the cameraman, like, at a certain point, he's like, you could just hear, like, snoring, he's just like, and he kind of adjusts the camera a little bit,
mhm,
as you're droning on about, like, floppy drives or something.
yeah.
What's the message? Do you know what the message is?
I think the messages are is like I think is like some a variation on this phrase, like just over and over, trying to like get this idea across to Michael. This isn't what you want.
Oh, interesting. Hmm. Interesting. All right, let's keep going here. Hmm. Steve, you are all in this recording bay. You have this like mummified half man. He's very like delirious. He keeps like rambling on. He he talks a lot about things he thinks he's seen, things that can't be true. Like he's seen things in the past, like in the ancient past. He's seen things in the future. He's seeing things. He talks often. He mutters often about a cave and some terrible beings using that cave as their passage back into this world. He's all over the place. He even like starts having one-sided conversations with someone that presumably the projection big man that you've been interacting with is talking with right now, right? All that's kind of going on. He holds the camera very tightly. It's connected to him. It's almost like where his spinal cord should be. It's a big, thick black cable into the camera, right? What are you doing right now, Steve?
I think once is out, like Steve is mostly just like looking over him in a little bit of like disgusted horror. I think when he has a second to pull Katie off to the side, he just says, "Katie, I don't think there's anything we can do for this guy. Maybe we should, maybe we, maybe we should unplug him." I mean, look at him. This isn't this isn't living. This must be hell. I'm not usually one for mercy killings, but I don't know. Maybe we should like
Okay.
I
Okay. Um, you do it and I'll keep watch.
what? I me?
Yeah, I hyped you up. You can do this.
Okay. 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 He turns back towards the big man, and he like this cameraman. He just goes, he sees the non-lucid state, and I think despite expecting a different outcome, he's still gonna like try and talk to him for a moment. He goes, "Hey, you, can you hear me?"
They are at the threshold. They are crossing the threshold. They are magnificent and terrible. They are everything and nothing.
All right. I get you, but like we'll take it from here. I think.
Management has brought evil here.
Well, you don't gotta worry about that at all. Can't believe I'm I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think you've watched a little too much TV, so it's time to unplug. He's like taking out his switchblade. He's gonna try and like cut through the cable that connects him to the camera.
This is the night move. What do you afraid is going to happen if this goes badly?
That the camera will immediately need a new tether, and it will be Steve.
Oh, oh boy. It's worse than that. In the amount of time it takes you to unplug him, you destabilize the chromatic desert, and Michael will have to deal with that.
Oh, fun.
If you wish to continue, this is going to be with sensitivity, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, yeah, I'll go ahead and roll. I can't find an advantage to gain from this, so we'll just see what comes up of 2d6 flat. Okay, that's not bad. That's 9.
Uh, it goes fine as far as that is. You're going to mark an X though.
That's fine. I'll take an X.
What do you what do you lose?
I think very fittingly he loses his memory of like watching television as a child. Like it just kind of like just the actual memories of watching television shuts off.
As soon as you wrench free the cable from the husk of the cameraman, Michael, you don't know that's happening, but you will look up at one point and you're during your recording and you'll notice that there's nobody operating the camera anymore.
Mm.
What do you do?
I think at that, I need to go see management.
That's obviously the right move.
Mhm. Yeah, scary.
I love it. Um, you can step back out into the hallway in front of the studio bays, and I think there's basically like a kind of an L-shaped bend, right? Like the studio bays are on one side, which is where you're at, and then the other hallway is like where the editing and the broadcasting suite are. Um, on the other end of the studio hallway, like if basically continuing down, that's where the janitorial closet is.
Mhm.
You go.
I will go into the closet, I guess.
Oh, Michael, you were doing so well.
I was doing so well.
You can head into the janitorial closet. And if you follow the instructions of the girl in the lobby, you'll find that hole in the wall. Do you crawl
Yeah.
inside the hole in the wall?
I will crawl in this hole, I guess.
As soon as you get down into the hole to start crawling into it, you see Tina facing you inside the hole, beckoning you to follow. And I
Yeah.
want the night move to keep going. What are you afraid is going to happen if you lose your nerve?
I think this hole is just it's the equivalent of what Katie put her siblings through. And I think it will just swallow Michael up.
I'm not sure how it's worse than that, so we'll go with that. Go ahead and roll with, we'll stick with composure, I think, for this.
Okay. What is in my corner of the house? Save me.
Yeah.
Okay. This is probably a stretch, and I may not get away with it.
Okay.
But however, since Tina and Tommy are dead, uh, can I use the sort of a crying circle as a way of just connecting, like tethering myself to them?
Oh, like let's play a game or
Yeah,
something, or like, oh,
yeah, like
interesting.
tethering, like so, like because like they are able to move through this space a little bit more freely than I can. So,
Unless it's not playing a game, it's just you chanting the
mhm,
like the games like super net because that had that like invocation that like
yeah,
where you in it, so it's like you're just reciting the invocation to
mhm,
as like
Oh,
a tether.
oh,
yeah,
interesting. I like that.
yeah.
That's kind of fun. Um, I think I think that turns it into a sensitivity roll, but yeah, I like it.
Mhm. Listen, I have like either ones or zeros. Like it's
Okay.
not that big of a difference.
Yeah.
The advantage is more important. God damn, my luck has ran out. That is a 6.
A 6. You have this idea that maybe using the Tome of Sadness will communicate with Tina and Tony somehow because they're sad about what happened to them or something. I don't know. But you begin reading it, and rather than creating some sort of link or affinity with these kids, and it's just Tina for now,
Mhm.
it angers them. They are angry, and she crawls towards you really quickly in the tunnel and slaps the page out of your hand, slaps a little booklet out of your hand, and begins and just leaps at you and begins clawing at your eyes and your cheeks and your face. And then Tony's on top of you from the other side, and they are just scrabbling and kicking and clawing in this little tunnel. And then you realize too late that you've been sinking this whole time. And you sink down and down. And then we just see the game in the tunnel and nothing else. Unless you are turning a key.
I'm gonna turn a key.
Which one?
A key of the child.
Okay. Do you want to do it now or do you want to wait?
Uh, I think like I will wait unless it, like you give
It's
me the
okay.
X condition.
You are going to get the X condition. So
Mm, okay. I think as as Michael is crawling through this tunnel, I think wires get crossed Michael's trauma from childhood was more or less just the vicious bullying he received growing up. But I think the key itself is going to get rewritten because that is what the X is. I think he sees this scene from different perspective of being stuck in quicksand and trying to scramble out and yelling for Katie to help me, please, help, and just suffocating down, 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 down to TV Odyssey. So Michael loses a little bit of his identity as to who he is.
Interesting, interesting indeed. Intriguing. Very weird and strange. I like it. Katie, what have you been doing this whole time while Steve is wresting that cable free from the now deceased, by the way, cameraman?
I think I'm looking around at the set,
Hmm.
and for a moment, it doesn't look like this pile of debris and wreckage. For a moment, it looks like an old episode of TV Odyssey I watched once as a kid.
Oh,
And
interesting.
I will do my flashback to the moment when I realized my parents were imperfect.
Okay.
We see the same set, and it zooms out. We see Katie watching it on TV, sitting too close to the TV, similar to how her siblings would. And she is watching a playroom, just a child show playroom. And we see in the TV Tommy and Tina playing with blocks, laughing, joking with other kids. There's strange static beings moving blocks around. It's all very surreal. And Katie just watches with a smile on her face, happy that her siblings are happy and safe and that she doesn't have to deal with them anymore. And then there's a sound of static and it sort of clears up. We can hear Katie's parents standing behind her, yelling at her, Katie, Katie, you have to answer us. Where are they? What have you done? Stop staring at the static on the screen. Katie, you little psycho, stop this. And Katie just smiles, watches the TV. The set fades back into how it really looks, destructed, destroyed. And Katie, I think I moved towards it to start setting up a TV show, to start setting up our TV show directed towards the entities, directed towards what they're doing. I can't remember what the question is now, but
You
I
have
want
to
to try
try
to.
to you have to make a show to convince them
Yeah,
how
like
they
how do
can
we
live
convince?
peaceably here.
Just
Yeah.
like tell them
Yeah,
to fuck off. Yeah.
I think what I'm doing is I'm looking around to see what sort of things, what sort of props were
Oh, I
here,
like it. It's good. Make
so that I can.
Yeah, you can make a meddling move with reason.
I don't think I'm very reasonable these days. Oops. All right. Oh, that is a 7.
Interesting, interesting. I'll give you a clue. You hear a voice from the lobby of the studio or of the station. It's your mom, and you hear her say, "Katie, sweetheart, are you back here? Sheriff Hanscom said you and your little friend came down here. It's me, it's mom.
Yeah, Mom, I'm just setting up for the TV.
Honey, this is just a this is just an old wrecked building. It's nothing. It's dangerous. You need to come out now.
Just 5 more minutes, Mom.
Katie, listen to me. I know what you did. And baby, I forgive you. I forgive you for what you did. You can come out here now, come back with me, and we can start over.
No, Mom, you don't understand. I'm gonna do this, and then they'll be back. They're here. They're here, Mom. Just stay where you are. It's dangerous in here. Stay where you
Katie,
are.
listen to me. If I turn away, if I go back up with the sheriff and leave you down here, this is the last you'll ever know of me. Do you understand? I'm your last bit of family you've got, hun. And they're gonna take that away from you if you don't come now.
But Mom, I'm gonna bring them back. And then we'll be a family again. You and me and Tina and Tommy and Dad. We we can go back to our old house. We can have family dinner. Spaghetti. You know you love spaghetti.
I want the night move, possibly the last night move for you, to resist the offer. This is going to be with composure. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
I'm afraid that I will go with my mom, who isn't my mom. She's still overtaken by the whisper. And I'm going to get whispered.
um, it's worse than that, just in the sense that that's going to be it for Katie. So it's going to be with composure.
I'm thinking back to my little childhood journal that I put all my stickers in. They were all very meticulously stuck, like very,
Mhm.
this is this theme page for stickers. This is this theme page for stickers. Um, and I'm just focusing on the sticker pages that I had for when I was watching TV, very themed around different episodes of TV, and just thinking about episodes of TV that I watched that were about communicating effectively and things like that. And I'm trying to ignore what's going on, think about my sticker book, and set the set up in a way that would my sticker book would be represented nicely in my sticker journal.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Thank you for the advantage. That is my last corner of the house item.
And this is you only have one more key to turn too. That's
I've
not
got
the pure white signal, right?
Yeah, I've got chromatic desert and pure white signal.
Yep.
All right, I got advantage, and
And
this
no,
is
and you're
with
also on your last condition box too. This is it.
yep.
I mean, you are on the knife's edge here.
This is with sensitivity,
Composure.
composure. Okay, composure's slightly. Oh, you. Okay, this is composure, and I have advantage, so that's a 7.
A
For a
7.
second, I thought I had disadvantage, and I was about to panic.
Oh boy, oh boy. She's going to turn away, and the entities will take her from you. You will have to mark an X unless you bump it up.
Sorry, Mom, I have to do this. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
You take your final X. You are just a dream of Deep Lake now. You're going to put on your TV show. You're going to help Steve, but you're never leaving the station. You're here for good. Katie Wright.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the dice have already rolled, but I figured no, but I might as well check. Like, would this count? Would this qualify as something that "Come with me if you want to live" could prevent? Because
Oh,
it
like to
says when you,
escape danger?
yeah, because when you and any other characters are facing grave harm, you can avoid that harm by narrating how you lead everyone to
I don't think
safety.
it's grave
Okay,
harm.
that's
Yeah,
fine. Yeah, I
yeah,
figured not. I wanted to check.
yeah. This is, in some sense, Katie's right where she's meant to be, where she was always meant to be. Steve, what are you doing while Katie's having this conversation with her mother? Which, by the way, you didn't hear any of it.
Not the slightest. I think he's off in his own little world. I think once that matter was settled, he goes back to, like, towards the exit, and he's just like listening and trying to make sure that Hanscom isn't approaching, and that they're not going to get like a maniac with a gun on them in mere moments. I think he's just kind of in his own little world. I think though, I think we got to answer this question now because we
I
are.
owe a clue
Oh, okay,
to I
let's
do owe a
do.
clue to Katie.
Yeah, because we are down to two latchkeys after this. So
Indeed. Katie, your clue that you got from looking around the space to see like what props might be around or kind of what might otherwise be in this recording bay of interest. Um, you will notice scrawled on one wall a message. They won't let us leave, and we're so happy to be here. That's your clue, written in Sharpie on the wall. Sounds like you want to attempt the question,
I think we
crew.
gotta. I think we're cutting it so close.
Let's
Yeah,
take a
this
15-minute break. We'll come
Okay.
back. You all can just, well, give you time to discuss the answer to the question. Like, how can these, what is the question? I gotta read it now. I've already forgotten what it was. Uh,
how can we convince the entities to be at peace here and the opportunities
right.
to produce a TV Odyssey show and
That's
convince
right.
them of
Yeah.
this?
See you in 15.
Only Johnny 4 times.
Well, let's review our clues. They are the entities find it interesting that various citizens of Deep Lake are having family dinner together. Daniel Kwan's drawing of the ridgeline is the location of where the TV Odyssey is. The really important part of that clue as well is that he's dreaming about Sunday dinner with his grandmother, right? Um, a blinking light coming from the station, a particular frequency. The big man was the life force of the camera. There are many insects in the studio, and they form a symbol when you shine light upon them. Variations on the phrase, "This isn't what you want." And then scrawled on the wall, "They won't let us leave. We're so happy to be here." So, the question is, how can we convince the entities to be at peace in this dimension or world? What do we think?
Since,
Katie, do
si-
you wanna
yeah,
tackle this?
since you're the star of the show.
Yeah, since you're the star of the show here, you can take it away.
So the entities find it interesting the various citizens of Deep Lake having family dinner together. We also have they won't let us leave, and we're so happy to be here. Remember when you were a kid at dinner and you weren't allowed to leave until you finished your food? But if it's a wonderful, happy dinner, you're not going to be, too unhappy to leave. So what we want is to make a TV show for these entities, for them to be in, where things like delightful family dinners occur, where they
Mm-hmm.
can be comfortable and happy. Home, of course, is where the heart is. You don't want to go branching out too far.
Mm-hmm.
So the Daniel Kwan's drawing of the ridgeline of the location where TV Odyssey is, they don't have to go anywhere else. They can be right here,
Yeah.
happily
Yeah.
and
And also,
peacefully.
Daniel Kwan's notes were also about the same theme as well.
Yeah. We know that the blinking light within a particular frequency there is still ability to this technology, broadcasting technology abilities in this studio that are functional and active that we can use for this.
Mhm.
The big man is the life force of the camera. Well, the big man is not going to be able to. He's been parasitized. He's not going to be able to do this. He didn't have a delusionally positive nature that is necessary for the kind of sitcom needed.
you,
But we have Katie.
you have torn away from the shackles of the cynic and embraced the hopeful and optimistic. Very good. Intriguing.
Alex, do you want to talk about your theory on the insects?
Yes. So it's since we talked about like insects in the theory last time, basically, when you shine a light on them and it made that like a strange symbol, it's kind of like when you see computer programming, like when you just see like a strand of just programming text, we're seeing a glimpse of like the otherworldly alien fabric of just like their language of logic communicating through. But it's like it's a standalone instance, so it makes no sense. In the wider context, the station and everything we're experiencing here, it's very like matrixy. It's like the programmed reality, but it's like a glimpse behind the curtain. So that's more of like an explain away than incorporating it into the theory.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, I'm into that. Yeah, I'm into that. So these like various messages, how do we think they connect up to what
The
you're proposing
this
here?
isn't what you want here. I think what we said was that it's both a like like a question and a declaration manifesting through the entities, because it's like they're doing all of this, but like clearly shit's fucked up, and so it's like this isn't what you want. It is them asking, well, what do you want, but also observing like something is wrong. It's like the warning signals going up of
Mm.
like they even acknowledge that this is an imperfect like broadcast that's coming out through
That they
here.
well, because I don't think that they intend to be like ripping apart the fabric of
Exactly.
reality,
So
right?
they're
So
observing like this is,
yeah.
and it's like they're too alien for us to like understand, and you know
Hmm.
vice versa. So it's
Hmm.
just this mutual observation of like something's wrong here.
Yeah. Okay, I'm into that. Yeah, it's good.
They won't let us leave. You don't have to leave.
Hmm. We're
We're
so
so
happy
happy
to
to be
be.
here. And you
Yeah.
can be happy here for a very long time.
Because we want Katie to be in charge. Katie's garden, Katie's house, whatever you want to call the show.
I also kind of like the idea of like I don't even like the third clue, the blinking light with a particular frequency. I'm not even sure that like being able to broadcast is super important. We're just literally using the medium that they understand, and
I think the
I,
blinking light could just be it's
more of like
over
a
where well, it's over where the studio was. So therefore it's like it's the location of where we're gonna be filming anyway. So just like, hey,
or
like
like just this idea of like them signaling trouble,
oh,
right?
okay, yeah, that
Like
works too.
they are aware that
Mm-hmm.
this is not, like they know that that they're having unintended consequences here, their
Mm-hmm.
activities, and so you have to just kind of point that out to them, like, okay, because you know that you are tearing apart the fabric of reality, in your sort of like angry, shaking of the cage being here. That's why you need to calm the fuck down and do what we're and like agree to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is ultimately you're going to make a TV show where they are like happy, or they're like having like they're just like permanently doing Leave It to Beaver or something. Like what's
Yeah,
going
it's
on?
like, well, it's like Katie is gonna, Katie's the dreamer of Deep Lake. She's got her permanently, she's the most deluded woman in Deep Lake. She's got a permanently positive mindset. And
Yeah,
so if she's in charge of the station, we're basically telling the entities, like, so you need to fuck off
right.
because you're destroying reality. Here's Katie.
Yeah,
She will make you your eternal forever program that you can live vicariously through and
got it.
be connected into
And
the
be happy
signal
forever.
and be
Yeah,
happy
and be at
forever.
peace. Yeah, like while you're stuck here, you'll be at peace. I'm into it. I think it's really good. It all holds together pretty good. That is going to be a +1. Who wants to roll it?
Split it.
Between two of us. I think it should be between Michael and Katie.
Mhm.
All right, one
Steve's
each.
getting the fuck out of here. You two can stay. Like he's
Trophy dice.
All
yeah.
right, what you got?
5.
Five,
6.
6. There you go.
12.
Good result.
Great result.
Best
Literally the best
result.
result.
Good. So, yeah. All right. So this is good. I think, I mean, Michael, you can't return from the chromatic desert, right? You're stuck essentially. I don't think there's any way for you to return from the chromatic desert. Does I am
Mm.
error let you return somehow?
Uh, Technically, the only way I could have returned, I just couldn't.
Is you would need you yeah, you never did the I Dream of Deep Lake thing
Yeah,
to you
because
yeah.
I was in the correct
Oh,
desert before
that's
that,
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
so
So
I'm
you're
stuck
you're
here.
stuck in the chromatic desert.
Uh,
So I think essentially, since you are going down to management right now,
mhm,
um, I think what this probably is like is you're the one who's actually kind of making contact with them,
mhm,
and you're the one who's going to and I think you're going to be in this TV show with them, right? Like
yeah.
you are the one. And I think the other performers in the TV show are the other people in the station who the entities work through. And Katie, you're managing the station, so to speak. You're using the power of the camera to film a show. What is I need to know what that's going to look like. Like, what does the real world version of it look like? And what does the fantasy version of it, the chromatic desert version of it look like? That's kind of what I need to know here. You don't need to tell me right away, but just be thinking about it. Steve, what are you going to be doing during all this?
I feel like this seems like one of those moments where, like, once things are kicking off, it's gonna be pretty destructive. Like, I imagine like the like shit falling from the ceiling. So
Oh,
like
like they're hidden or whatever. Yeah,
Steve's
yeah,
probably gonna have to have like a goodbye moment before he's like, I gotta go because I'm good. Like, I don't need to
yeah.
be here, and he will like flee back to the surface.
That all sounds really good. Let's take another break so you all can think about what the finale looks like. Your last scenes with each other. Um, this might be I think also maybe you can communicate with Michael through the camera, right? This might be the last time you can kind of like communicate with Michael. And a last scene with Steve and Katie, and then I want to see what it looks like for Katie to make a show in this abandoned ruined station filled with skeletons, and then what it looks like for Michael to be in the show with management. And but I do want to say this, Michael, before we go on break. You do manage to follow that tunnel, which lets out into a vast underground space. And you can see at the bottom of this space thousands upon thousands of motes of light, swirling, dipping, bobbing, undulating. This may shatter you.
Mhm.
This may cause you truly to be lost forever. But I just want to know, as a paint the scene question from all of you, at this moment when you all decide what has to happen, as Michael looks upon management, Steve, as you realize that you're quickly, rapidly losing your grip on your past, Katie, as you're fucking in the mouth of madness, like, I want to know how each of you knows that where you're at right now is home. Interpret the question however you want.
I've been here for years. Where else is home at?
Deep Lake has always been my home, and it always will be my home. It's a part of me, a part of my heart, and now I get to be a part of it. And I'll be here in TV Odyssey, where I've always been the happiest with my little siblings, and there's nowhere else I would rather be.
Every time Steven tuned in, he turned off. As a child, you devote so much time to watching TV, and this is where all of your attention now lives. So it's a part of your soul. Your inner child lives and thrives here.
You don't remember the concept of TV, but
Well, I know, but that's intuitive. Like
you're intuiting it. Yeah, I know.
It's intuiting. I don't remember it, but that's what happened.
I love it. That's good. Well, it could be out of character too, right? Fantastic. I love it. It's all very dark. I'm super, super into it. Let's take a 10-minute break. We'll do these final goodbye scenes, and then we'll do the TV show. Let's have our final scene with everyone huddled around the campfire of the glowing screen of the video camera. Michael, you're on the screen. We can see you.
I think there is an opening credits sequence where we see the title of Katie's brand new show. I think we settled on Katie's Garden, in which like we see like the introduction of Katie's siblings, Tina Wright, Tommy Wright, and now Michael Wright. Like Michael looks like his usual self, dressed in his usual clothes, a little bit of a grunge look, honestly, but like the eyes, they're a little bit unfocused, as though he's not entirely there, but he's happy. What more could he ever want? Yeah, I think like uh Tina like says, "Come on, Mikey, let's go to the dinner table."
What does it mean to film a show in this ruin of a studio?
Mm.
I mean, to me, it feels like on our end of things, it's got to look pretty horrifying. I imagine
Yeah.
like Katie. I mean, does Katie have to literally plug herself into the camera like the big man did, or something similar?
I think it doesn't start like that. I think it
Mhm.
starts with Katie,
I
and
think
what
it
Katie
becomes
sees
that
is
over
the
Gotcha.
set.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then Katie at the camera, making sure to spotlight where it needs to go, moving things around. And I think very slowly over time, as the film keeps recording and recording, the film itself wraps around her.
Oh, it keeps like
you know.
gradually wrapping around you slowly.
Yeah.
I also like the idea of like you're just filming something. You're just filming like this barren space in the studio that you, and
Mhm.
it seems like you can see things, but Steve, you can't see anything, and that might be your cue to get the fuck out of here, Steve.
I would agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, like Katie's. That's it for Katie. Katie's done. So let's just have that scene. What does that look like?
Filming Mikey and Tina and Tommy as they go to the dinner table, we see a static being. If you were to look really close, it would look like millions of little bugs and beetles, but they flash on in black and white light, so it looks like a static. It is in the form of an old sitcom housewife bringing a big plate of spaghetti for everyone to have at the table, a big bowl of spaghetti, as people start to dish it out onto their separate dishes. We see a static version of Katie come and sit at the table and ask, "Mikey, what did you do at school today?"
I think we should cut over to Steve Nuts and
How's this look to you, Steve?
Mhm.
I think it looks like Katie is like clutching the glowing like TV monitor, just like bathed in like white light, and we just see like through the distortion what looks like Michael's face, and it just looks like she like just staring into it, and they're speaking. I think her eyes are starting to glow like sheriff the sheriffs were. And so Steve is like almost kind of like watching on like in horror, and he's just like, Katie, what? And he's like backing up, and like the glow is increasing in brightness. I think we can hear like the hum of all of the like old technology coming back to life in here. Maybe some sparks come down from the rigging of the old lighting equipment. You need to
I,
speak louder, chaotic, if you're saying anything.
I didn't say anything
Okay.
yet.
It looks like your mouth was moving. Sorry.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think then there's a knock at the door
Mhm.
in the dinner room or in the dining room, and Tina gets up to answer it. At the door is the shapeless form of a large man. Oh, we have a guest, says Static Katie as the big man enters the room. I want to trigger my very last Zagreus prize.
Oh,
You're
what is
visited by
that?
the specter of deceased character in your dreams the next time you fall asleep. Describe them. You may ask them 3 questions. The keeper will answer truthfully. They're not necessarily completely. I
Oh,
am a dream, so I
oh.
feel like this applies.
I'll take it. What are your
Yeah.
questions? To who?
I feel like to the big man.
Oh, interesting. Go ahead.
Oh, we're so glad you could join us.
By the way, there's an audience like applause track playing.
Mhm.
Woo!
I think we intercut between them and what sounds like an applause for them. It sounds like rocks beginning to like shift and fall.
to shift and fall. You're like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. Right?
Fucking go, man.
Yeah, that's good. Howdy. I'm so happy to be invited to your little family soiree.
Well, it's always the more the merrier. We're so happy you could join us.
And
How are you feeling?
I feel great. I just got back from seeing a hot little thing that I picked up at a bar last night. I think this is the one. This is the one that's gonna stick.
Well, I really hope that goes well for you. It's so nice to see you so happy.
Here, I brought a housewoman gift. And he hands you a carton of cigarettes.
Oh, you. And then the track laughter. Ha
Ah,
ha
ha,
ha ha
ha,
ha
ha,
ha
ha,
ha
ha.
ha.
I think the laughter in real life is some weird fucking like electrical
Yeah,
discharge.
exactly. Yeah.
Some weird sounds, yeah.
Tell me, do you think we're doing the right thing having dinner together every night?
Oh, yes, every night. They feel it. They love it. And they want more of it.
Well, there's always more spaghetti where this comes from. Pointing at
Ha
the
ha ha
spaghetti
ha
thing.
ha.
Ha 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 ha.
Steve's running.
And I think my third question is, gosh, do you think we could just do this forever?
Well, we might could. It'll depend quite a lot on whether they get bored or not. If they start to wander away from the table, well, we might have some visitors come to our door and blow that door down.
Well, we all know the rules. Right, Mikey and Tina and Tommy? You can't leave the table until you finish your dinner.
Other people start joining the table, it's people you don't recognize, but maybe it is people you recognize. And they are just like on camera, they're like sort of robotically shoving spaghetti into their mouths, and they even like have their kind of face like almost like practically in the plate, and they lift it up and they have like strands of spaghetti hanging out of their mouths, and they're like, this is great, I love this, I love you, ha
And
ha ha
we
ha
love
ha ha
you.
ha. Aww.
Oh.
Stephen Knudsen, you make your escape, I assume.
Just literally crawling his way back out. Like, I think we actually see like the
It's like the
crater
descent.
edge. Yeah, yeah. No, I think we see like up by Playa Morado, like that like crater, and then just like his hand like comes up and he's like scrambling his way out. He's like scraped up and covered in like rubble and dirt and sand and just like sweating buckets as he like scrambles up.
The episode will end with a freeze frame, of course. What is the freeze frame?
I think it ends with Mikey's TV show catchphrase.
I think it's gonna be something really dumb, like beans.
Like some misfortune happens and he just goes,
Oh,
oh,
beans!
beans. Da
And
da
it,
da
it
da
freeze
da.
frame. Da, da, da,
The
da, da, da.
credits begin to scroll.
Cue applause track. Let's fast forward to an epilogue for these characters. You can reveal your character's fate at any point in the future. Whenever you're ready, say what happens to your character at the end.
I think we just cut back to the cave. It is substantially more collapsed now. There's more debris. There's no way in or out anymore. And Katie is still collapsed over the monitor on the camera. She is desiccated and mummified with the film wrapped around her, the old cartilage of beetles just still clinging to the bits of her skin or bone that are visible. And you can still see a very pleasant, happy smile on her face.
Michael.
As stated earlier, the TV show will last as long as everyone can stay at the table. But it's the type of thing that, well, you know those TV shows, the ones that go for far too many seasons, that last too long, and that they need a revamp. They need a new cast. I think we see some time in the future and to a very modern looking version of Deep Lake. And I think with in the edge of reality sort of leading on through, wearing a cowboy hat, Michael is looking for recruits.
Love it.
We
Steve.
see a little office door open into this like cramped little room. You know, there's like a bank of monitors, kind of like a just a little rotary fan. Just and we see Steve. This is not much later. It seems to be at least like a few months. And Steve is like wearing just kind of like somewhat nicer clothes, nothing to write home about, like a Kohl's button-up shirt, like and a tie tucked into some slacks. And there's like a man like letting him in. He's just saying, and really, that's the basics of the job. Now, you said that you don't mind working nights. So, it's just you gotta clock in, clock out. And you need anything, ask the book, stuff like that. And like Steve is nodding, says, yeah, I just I don't sleep great these days anyway. So I figured, well, now I'm back home. I need a job to pay the bills, maybe help, save up a little bit. But it's good to be back in Minnesota. But I think I think for now I'm happy on the night shift. And he says, like I said, well, if you need anything, just call, or worst case scenario, dial 911. And he's like, oh, I trust me, I think I've seen weirder than this, even though they're pretty fucking creepy. Yeah. It's like, well, hey, we're not allowed to say that, but hey, have a first good night on the job, kid. And we see Steve like sit down, I'm bored, and he just like opens like a bag of Fritos, like leans back in the chair and just begins to watch the security camera monitors. And he just goes, well, not like this could be any worse. Crunch, crunch, and we pan back out, and we see that the building he is in the middle of just fucking snowy fields, little flickering outdoor sign that says Calamity Raccoons Good Time Pizza Farm.
Yes. Love it. Love it. Oh, fantastic. That concludes the playtest of the Skinny Jeans edition of Public Access. We hope you enjoyed your stay in beautiful Deep Lake, Degolla County, New Mexico. Let's go to stars and wishes for session and campaign as you wish. Well, star straight away for the stingers. Or the ending, the epilogues. They were all really great. Particularly love the pizza time ending, and also the Michael as Big Man ending was pretty great too. But it was all very fun all the way around. Yeah, yeah, this is great. I'll kind of speak to the playtest. I'm really happy with Skinny Jeans. There's certain aspects of it that I will probably change for like some final edition of Public Access, but I'm going to incorporate a lot of what we did in Skinny Jeans into the ultimate version of the main game. I'm particularly happy with the pace at which backstory is revealed. I'm also happy with the truncated version of the campaign versus what the old style was. But we're going to have the option of lost transmissions still, so you can keep your campaign going longer or have like side stories after you're done. But the main TV Odyssey portion of it, I'm super super happy with, and yeah, I'm gonna have to like figure out what the kind of final part looks like ultimately, because I just sort of like made something up, for this, like kind of based off what had happened and how you answer the question. But I do want there to be something a little more structured ultimately for people. It'll probably be just like locations and characters for the station, and then like you kind of get to the station however you answer the question. But the original TV Odyssey question. But yeah, I loved all that. I really liked the way TV Odyssey clues come from the tapes. I thought that was really, really great. And also, I liked every now and then. I think we had a couple, one or two, where like a question to another mystery was or the answer to another mystery was also a clue, and I thought that worked really well, to kind of tie everything together and make it all feel like one story. Like I've run public access plenty, and this is the first time. This is like the most it's ever felt like everything feels like one single cohesive story, and one place. And I think that is what is going to be really great about whatever public access eventually turns into, inspired by the Skinny Jeans edition. So yeah, super happy with it. And I thought you were all, it's I played with all three of you a bunch, and you were all great again as usual, and I had a lot of fun with it. And so just stars all around for that. There was a lot of good role play and a lot of good leaning into the danger, but also leading into like really horrible backstory elements, particularly for Katie. I love going to that dark place, so star for that for sure. Just good times all around. Yeah, I don't think I have any other thoughts.
Yeah, I would say that just as like a general star to the experience. Having this is the second time I've gotten a public access campaign that Jason has run, and I loved Lost Transmissions a lot, and you can really feel the differences in like pacing and
Or
overall like
signals, you
tone.
mean, but yeah.
Sorry, so yeah, no, sorry, not so yeah, signals. I want to say yeah, signals from the other side. You can really feel the difference in like pacing and like tone. Like this one overall, like it felt like exactly as Jason was saying. It felt like more of like the like cohesive incorporated story, and like the longer campaign was very fun and it really got to like draw out and really explore the world and the characters. But this felt like more of like the contained horror story.
Yeah.
It felt very weird, and by the end, it felt very cosmic. And I liked this finale. I loved. I thought it was. I was actually really stoked to have like a really kind of like bad ending of like people don't make it out, because we made it out all alive and okay in signals, which is very like it was a big breath of fresh air by the end of that campaign. But for this, it was like this is great. Like this is tense. Getting to have the collapsing station, that final confrontation was so cool. So yeah, just started the campaign for this specific session. I love cigarettes and poontang. That was unhinged. Loved that. The odd beans, but also the I loved the way that the whole fucking sitcom framed itself. That was so fucked up. The imagery of the big man being like mummified to the wall in like VHS tape was super cool. Just overall, yeah, very evocative session, really fun. And it was just a delight. And I'm so glad that I got to, even though we were ambushed with this campaign, it was very fun top to bottom.
Yeah, I a little star for Alex for we started this campaign thinking we were going to play Pizza Time, and then we were surprised by it being Skinny Jeans. But ended
It
up
got back
being
to pizza time.
So
Yeah.
yay, full circle, which is a very public access thing to do, I think. Um, the playtest itself, I really liked it. I like how it feels more like TV Odyssey is the central thing, versus kind of standard public access or the original public access. It felt like the framework for getting the people or the latchkeys into town, but it wasn't really what they were doing there. So I really like that it's a central thing. I know there's going to be a lot of people who don't really like the fast paced nature of it, because it's a lot more tense. They can't really luxuriate in the backstories. But I think for this kind of genre, having that up tempo, really tense, quick thing, it works really well, and it
Well,
was
we'll
really
find a
fun to
middle
play.
place, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I just happen to think that the game as currently written, not including Skinny Jeans, but like the regular game, I just think it kind of just overstays its welcome a little bit. Like you want it to be
for
over
sure.
just a little sooner, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I really like how TV Odyssey is, it has its fingers in everything, and it is related to everything going on. It feels like it's much more cohesive, and easier to play because of that, I think, because you can find the inspiration when you're thinking about paint the scenes, when you're thinking about clues, it's a lot easier to pull things in. It doesn't feel quite as segmented between the different mysteries, and I really really enjoy that. Loved all the characters, of course. They were just delightful to play with and be in the sandbox with. Yeah, this is great. I can't wait to play more games with you all.
Before we move on from the pizza time note too, I would also note that pizza time takes place in Minnesota, like it's set in Minnesota. So were you just
Oh
playing the
yeah.
long game there, Alex? Like, did
No,
you
I
know?
said from the jump that like, well, because Steve Knudsen is a character who appears in Pizza Time.
Oh, that's
It,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
he's a
yeah.
meddlesome
That's
police
right.
officer,
Yeah, that's
Officer
right.
Steve Knudsen.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like, when we did this together, I was like, I have Pizza Time on the mind. I'm just gonna make young Steve.
Make young Steve. That's good. Okay,
He's
good. I love
weirdly in his notes, it's mentioned he's weirdly reminiscent of an egg. So,
it.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely have to like echo what a lot of people already said. Just it just was like a very like fast paced experience, because like I know I've noticed, Jason, that your other public access game that is ongoing like 20 plus sessions
26
now.
sessions. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
to be fair, we've done two lost transmissions in
yeah,
that campaign. Like without that, it wouldn't be nearly as long. But yeah.
yeah. It's still like I would say like the difference between the original rules and like the Skinny Jeans rules is like the difference between the game being a character study and being an investigation game. this is the investigation game. Like it is focused on the horror. It's focused on the mystery and the setting rather than the individual characters in it, even though like there has importance to the plot overall.
I mean, I do. One thing I think is interesting about the playtest is like there may not be as much like runway for like kind of making
Mm-hmm.
it a, I guess, like a character focused game as such, but you get way more of the backstory of the characters like
Mm-hmm.
in this. Like you get way more. Like I've done campaigns of public access, the regular rules, where some characters we never learn like what like we never learn about their connection to TV Odyssey, or we never learn about their trauma, and like that feels like a mistake, right? Like
And
that
and
can't be right.
the by
Yeah.
ramping up the fact that you're forced to mark your backstory masks like every campaign layer, one, it adds genuine tension to this specific game. And I know that some people have a hot take about that, but personally, for pizza, for not for pizza time, for the skinny, like for what this is going for, it makes complete sense.
Mm-hmm.
And this is more of like a horror experience. This felt like this was like the most horror of all the CFB games. Like you can have all the horror stuff from like Brindlewood Bay and between and Silverstone and all that. This is one that's like where it's like it felt like the most ramped up and like the most like traditionally like surviving a scenario kind of environment.
And that's the game I intended to write
Yeah,
originally, right?
and
Yeah.
I think the thing is though, like as like an overall like star to like the takeaway from that is like, well, now when I run like like miniature little runs of other Brindlewood games like the Between, now I'm like, you know what, it is really fun forcing everyone to mark their backstory prompt at the start of each session for those like 2-shot, 3-shot, 4-shot, whatever. It's like, because I want to get more of your backstory, and it's like
Yeah.
this kind of like bang for the buck. Really,
It is right. It's interesting, right? Because you could. I've played like 2 shots of the Between, for example, where I've had people mark their Mask of the Past at the beginning of the session just to get some of their backstory in, right? Like without having to like wait on failed die rolls or like bad die rolls to do it. Like because when you have like a tightly compressed time frame, the the Mask of the Past is one way to like do some fast and substantive character exploration, right? And so yeah, it's interesting. Like if you know you've only got like 4 sessions to run a thing of the Between, you could just have them mark Mask of the Past at the top of each session, and you're getting the character's backstory in this tighter package. And I think there's something to be said about that. I think for public access, like the eventual edition, and then there's going to be like, it's going to basically live somewhere in between Skinny Jeans and the old edition, right? Like there's gonna I do like the marking of the keys. I think it's really great. And I honestly think the only reason why people even ever have an issue with it is because they know other CFB games and they know CFB. If public access was airdropped into the middle of a world where there's no Brindlewood Bay or the Between, you wouldn't know the fucking difference. You would just be like, oh, that's how the game plays, right? You wouldn't know the
Yeah.
difference, you know, and like, and you would think, oh, I think it's so cool that I get to share my backstory every session, right? Like you would think of it that way. And so really it's just a matter of like kind of reorienting people to understand that like this is a different game that does a different thing, and this is how it functions, right? And all the games have little changes like that. They're just not as like as
Dramatic.
super obvious as that one, right? As dramatic. Like Silt versus, you can only do the verse of prophecy to bump up answer a question, right? That's a tight constraint, right? Like you know, that's not in the other games, right? And so although I thought it was in Skinny Jeans, but like yeah, you so that's so it's there's no like sacrosanct thing here, right? Like we make the game, we change the rules to fit the needs of the design, right? So but yeah, I like it. I like the regular revealing of backstory because it feels super cinematic. It's just how a TV show would go. It would be at the top of the episode. You get another flashback for that character to learn why they're all fucked up, and then you'd have the episode of the show where you explore it a little bit, you know. But there is a middle place where it doesn't wrap up so quickly. And I also wonder if that middle place is just more lost transmissions, right? Like, is the middle place the possibility of more lost transmissions? Like right now, it's just Chili Cook-Off, but presumably when we do the full Kickstarter books, there's going to be like, you know, a dozen to choose from. And so if there are more lost transmissions, it's like saying, okay, yeah, the TV Odyssey story is of a certain length, but you can do these other stories as well. They have their own keys, so you don't have to worry about your keys on your paper. So like that's another way of kind of keeping the story alive, keeping it going. And you do get to, even though you're playing like a different character, so to speak, they do loop back to the latchkeys in a certain way, right?
I'm
And
wondering because
yeah,
I'm wondering now if then there would be something to be done similar to how the new rooms of Hargrave House are going to be working for the new edition of doing a similar concept for the town of Deep Lake itself, where it's
good.
like because because you could because in addition to the lost transmissions and watching Odyssey tapes, you could also just have the additional option of just choosing to explore the town of Deep Lake more and learn
Right.
more about the town and its history.
Yeah, that's not a bad frame at all. I mean, I think
Mm-hmm.
there's like a the way it's set up right now is you have these like the remnants, right, that like
Mm-hmm.
are your way in, but it could certainly be. I mean, there's no reason why the remnants. I mean, like, there's no reason why you can't search the town and like find a remnant
True.
somewhere, right? You
Yeah.
know, like it doesn't have to be connected to what you're even doing on the TV Odyssey, right? So there's ways to do it, but I think the middle place is probably some combination of like tweaking Skinny Jeans just a little bit because there are some things I want to tweak on it, and then having the possibility of lost transmissions if you want
Mm-hmm.
to play a longer campaign, right? You'll have that option, but the but there's a certain integrity that comes with this new version of the TV Odyssey mystery that I really love that is very tight and very focused and like you said very horror focused, and it feels like a horror game. It's an investigation game, it's a horror game, and importantly it makes all of the mysteries feel like they are connected to the TV Odyssey mystery.
Mhm.
And that feels important to me. Like one of the things I've never loved about the original edition, if the game has any flaw, this is it, is you are brought to Deep Lake. You come to Deep Lake to investigate TV Odyssey, and then you kind of forget about it
Yeah.
until like the end of the campaign, right?
Mhm.
Because you get distracted by all these other things, and all those other things are fun, and you have the tapes, but you never really ponder TV Odyssey, right? Until the very end. And so yeah, that the sort of like that tight interconnected structure of the TV Odyssey mystery is something that I'm 100% taking for the final version of the game. And just having, and I think the lost transmissions are going to be the like,
Mm-hmm.
if you want a longer thing, or if you want to spend more time with these characters, or if you want to spend more time in this world, you have that option, right? So,
The only consideration I have, like that, I guess, like slight worry I have is just like with Lost Transmissions. I think they're fantastic, and I would love to use them to extend a campaign. They can be super fucking lethal, and
it
like
can be,
if we
yeah.
saw with this ending here, like the one of us was barely crossing the finish line. So
Well,
it's like
they do come with three keys
it's true,
that are
it's true.
not like that are free
Mm-hmm.
keys, right? And you're not allowed to mark the key of the child.
Mm-hmm.
So
That is true.
you're kind of necessarily like, or you're kind of forced to not really
Mm-hmm.
use the things on your sheet. Um, that said, if you burn up all the keys on the sheet, and then you have to do the key of desolation, that's a bigger problem, right? So it's like anything. There's a strategy
That's
there,
true.
you know.
I think
But
so. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, sorry, we kind of cut you off on your stars and wishes chaotic. I didn't.
You got excited about game design.
Well, that's what we were here for. Yeah. So
But yeah, I've actually started and finished a campaign of public access using the original rules during our playtest of the Skinny Jeans edition.
yeah.
I definitely I prefer definitely for Skinny Jeans, I definitely prefer these rules, especially within campaigns where you may have like long beats of time between sessions rather
Mhm.
than the original rules, because like it's much easier to go back to the investigation rather than the
Mhm.
characters because
Yeah,
you
I can see
forget.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm I'm just glad because I was like, fuck, I don't remember Michael's past. What's going on here?
Right.
So definitely glad that like things were getting eaten up in terms of backstory.
Mhm.
So like as well as like the general like here's a countdown to like your character being like retired, like
Mhm.
people who for the recording, like we like were like blacking out the condition boxes as we were going along. Uh, definitely. God, Katie, what the fuck, man?
I mean, we
Um,
lost Katie. We functionally lost Michael, right?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm talking about Katie murdering her siblings, though.
Oh, there's that too. Yeah. Katie was been
Was it
lost.
really,
It was,
or did she just give them a better life in TV Odyssey? Just saying, just saying.
God.
I knew it was going to be something like that too. I was like, oh, it's going to be something like that. It's going to be some kind of like Katie was involved or something. I didn't know it was going to
Yeah.
be so. It
Mhm.
was kind of bleak. It was a really bleak like
Yeah,
thing to do, but yeah.
yeah. Definitely. God, like the sort of TV Odyssey mystery itself was very, very good. Just like sort of cutting away from this very derelict building underground to like, oh yeah, you're in an like a TV station, Michael. What are you doing? And I guess okay, I'm taking on my role. I'm producing a public access TV show. Uh and like I really did not get to roll too much because I was doing very, very safe things, oddly enough. Like, I'm like, cool.
You know what I realized while this scenario was playing out was like not like one to one lining up, but like the ending of this is not the worst like through line to how the Brindlewood Bay scenario as the crow dies plays out, because it's like that,
Yeah.
you know, that garden dimension of entities kept at peace, you
Kept
know.
at peace. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. We totally told the like that part of the Brindleverse story. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Uh, Also, Amanda using Zagreus to like get a lot of stuff done. That was masterful. I forgot about Zagreus, but and we got from that. Uh, Also, Steve Knutson, good old Steve for surviving to make it to pizza time. I wasn't sure about that. We like I tried very hard to make sure you stayed alive.
It was appreciated.
Yeah, because like we were like, okay, what do we have in our stuff? What can we do? We can give you things for advantage. Don't forget your abilities. Uh, but yeah, real fun session. I'm looking forward to what we're having next.
I think we're gonna do some trophy in the Sunday group. So anybody who wants to hang out for that can. We'll get a fourth person here too. Probably Wes, but I don't know. Maybe Wes might have other things going on. But um, anybody else have stars and wishes? All right. Well, thank you all so much for another campaign. How many campaigns is that now with this group?
Two.
Two? Okay. Wait, what was the first
Wait,
one?
no, because we
Silk
did
versus.
we did
Oh no,
Nine-
three.
three.
Brindlewood-
Yeah,
Yeah, you
Brindlewood
ninth
Bay,
step.
Silk
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
versus-
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's
Three.
the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
9 steps, Silk versus
Right,
this
yeah.
one. Yeah.
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 Fantastic. All right. Well, I will see you all later. If you've been watching the video, goodbye, everybody watching the video.